Good morning. I hope that everyone's day yesterday was blessed and happy and filled with love. Here's a prayer by Bahá'u'lláh, a morning prayer. I give praise to thee, O my God, that thou hast awakened me out of my sleep and brought me forth after my disappearance and raised me up from my slumber. I have wakened this morning with my face set toward the splendors of the day star of thy revelation, through which the heavens of thy power and thy majesty have been illumined, acknowledging thy signs, believing in thy book, and holding fast unto thy cord. I beseech thee by the potency of thy will and the compelling power of thy purpose, to make of what thou didst reveal unto me in my sleep the surest foundation for the mansions of thy love that are within the hearts of thy loved ones, and the best instrument for the revelation of the tokens of thy grace and thy loving kindness. Do thou ordain for me through thy most exalted pen, O my Lord, the good of this world and of the next. I testify that within thy grasp are held the reins of all things. Thou changest them as thou pleasest. No God is there save thee, the strong, the faithful. Thou art he who changeth through his bidding abasement into glory, and weakness into strength, and powerlessness into might, and fear into calm, and doubt into certainty. No God is there but thee, the mighty, the beneficent. Thou disappointest no one who hath sought thee, nor dost thou keep back from thee anyone who hath desired thee. Ordain thou for me what becometh the heaven of thy generosity and the ocean of thy bounty. Thou art verily the Almighty, the most powerful. Glory be to thee, O my God. This is another prayer by Bahá'u'lláh. Glory be to thee, O my God. Thou hearest thine ardent lovers lamenting in their separation from thee, and such as have recognized thee, wailing because of their remoteness from thy presence. Open thou outwardly to their faces, O my Lord, the gates of thy grace, that they may enter them by thy leave. and in conformity with thy will, and may stand before the throne of thy majesty and catch the accents of thy voice and be illumined with the splendors of the light of thy face. Potent art thou to do what pleaseth thee. None can withstand the power of thy sovereign might. From everlasting thou wert alone, with none to equal thee, and wilt unto everlasting remain far above all thought and every description of thee. Have mercy then upon thy servants by thy grace and bounty, and suffer them not to be kept back from the shores of the ocean of thy nearness. If thou abandonest them, who is there to befriend them? And if thou puttest them far from thee, who is he that can favor them? They have none other Lord beside thee, none to adore except thyself. Deal thou generously with them by thy bountiful grace. Thou, in truth, art the ever-forgiving, the most compassionate. Here's another one by Baha'u'lláh. Verily, I am thy servant, O my God, and thy poor one, and thy suppliant, and thy wretched creature. I have arrived at thy gate, seeking thy shelter. I have found no contentment save in thy love, no exultation except in thy remembrance, no eagerness but in obedience to thee, no joy save in thy nearness, and no tranquility except in reunion with thee. Notwithstanding that I am conscious that all created things are debarred from thy sublime essence, and the entire creation is denied access to thine inmost being. Whenever I attempt to approach thee, I perceive nothing in myself but the tokens of thy grace, and behold naught in my being but the revelations of thy loving kindness. How can one who is but thy creature seek reunion with thee and attain unto thy presence? Whereas no created thing can ever be associated with thee, nor can aught comprehend thee. How is it possible for a lowly servant to recognize thee and to extol thy praise, notwithstanding that thou hast destined for him the revelations of thy dominion and the wondrous testimonies of thy sovereignty? Thus every created thing beareth witness that it is debarred from the sanctuary of thy presence, by reason of the limitations imposed upon its inner reality. It is undisputed, however, that the influence of thine attraction hath everlastingly been inherent in the realities of thy handiwork. Although that which beseemeth the hallowed court of thy providence is exalted beyond the attainment of the entire creation. This indicateth, O my God, my utter powerlessness to praise thee, and revealeth my utmost impotence in yielding thanks unto thee. And how much more to attain the recognition of thy divine unity, or to succeed in reaching the clear tokens of thy praise, thy sanctity and thy glory. Nay, by thy might I yearn for naught but thine own self, and seek no one other than thee. So that prayer was actually by the Bab, not by Baha'u'lláh. And as soon as I started reading it, I realized it had to be by the Bab, because the Bab is always writing about the inaccessible nature of God. I'm going to recite a prayer by Baha'u'lláh, which I often recite. Many a chilled heart, O my God, hath been set ablaze by the fire of thy cause, and many a slumberer hath been wakened by the sweetness of thy voice. How many the strangers who have sought shelter beneath the shadow of the tree of thy oneness, and how numerous the thirsty ones who have panted after the fountain of thy living waters in thy days. Blessed is he who hath set himself towards thee and hasted to attain to the lights of thy face. Blessed is he who with all his affections hath turned toward the dawning place of thy revelation and the fountainhead of thine inspiration. Blessed is he who hath expended in thy path what thou didst bestow upon him through thy bounty and favor. Blessed is he who in his sore longing after thee hath rid himself of all attachment to aught else except thyself. Blessed is he who hath enjoyed intimate communion with thee and detached himself from aught else besides thee. I beseech thee, O my Lord, by him who is thy name, who through the power of thy sovereignty and grandeur hath risen above the horizon of his prison, to ordain for everyone what becometh thee and beseemeth thine exaltation. Thy might in truth is equal to all things. Here's another one by Baha'u'lláh. I know not, O my God, what the fire is which thou didst kindle in thy land. Earth can never cloud its splendor, nor water quench its flame. All the peoples of the world are powerless to resist its force. Great is the blessedness of him who hath drawn nigh unto it and heard its roaring. Some, O my God, thou didst through thy strengthening grace enable to approach it, whilst others thou didst keep back by reason of what their hands have wrought in thy days. Whoso hath approached it and attained unto it, hath in his eagerness to gaze on thy beauty, yielded his life in thy path, and ascended unto thee, wholly detached from aught else besides thee. I beseech thee, O my Lord, by this fire, which blazeth and rageth in the world of creation, to rend asunder the veils which have hindered me from appearing before the throne of thy majesty and from standing at the door of thy gate. Do thou ordain for me, O my Lord, every good thing thou didst send down in thy book, and suffer me not to be far removed from the shelter of thy mercy. Powerful art thou to do what pleaseth thee. Thou art verily the most powerful, the all-generous. Here we are back in the Hidden Words of Bahá'u'lláh, and this is number 37 from the Persian, and he says this. When he says stuff like this, man, I just wonder what the heck he's talking about. In the first line of the tablet, it is recorded and written, and within the sanctuary of the tabernacle of God is hidden. O my servant, abandon not for that which perisheth an everlasting dominion, and cast not away celestial sovereignty for a worldly desire. This is the river of everlasting life that hath flowed from the wellspring of the pen of the merciful. Well is it with them that drink. So there was a group called the Bosch Bluegrass group. And I don't know if they still exist, but they were great. Oh my gosh, they were wonderful. They were singers. And they set this hidden word to music. And I'll try to reproduce it for you with one voice instead of three. O my servant, abandon not for that which perisheth an everlasting dominion, and cast not away celestial sovereignty for a worldly desire. This is the river of everlasting life that hath flowed from the wellspring of the pen of the merciful. Well is it with them that drink. Well is it with them that drink. O my servant, abandon not for that which perisheth an everlasting dominion, and Cast not away celestial sovereignty for a worldly desire. This is the river of everlasting life that hath flowed from the wellspring of the pen of the merciful. Well is it with them that drink. O my servant, abandon not for that which perisheth an everlasting dominion, and cast not away celestial sovereignty for a worldly desire. This is the river of everlasting life that hath flowed from the wellspring of the pen of the merciful. Well is it with them that drink. Well is it with them that drink. I really love that. O Son of Spirit, burst thy cage asunder, and even as the phoenix of love, soar into the firmament of holiness. Renounce thyself, and filled with the spirit of mercy, abide in the realm of celestial sanctity. I just have to say that a few years ago I went through one of the most challenging periods of my life. It lasted about 2.5 years. And during that time, I had to confront everything that I was doing, outwardly and inwardly, that were not in keeping with the teachings of Baha'u'lláh. And it was a mountain, it was an avalanche. And it was extremely painful. Because every day, incessantly, all day long and all night long, I was faced with all of these ways in which I had not been true to what I said I believed in. As I began to climb out of this deep darkness, I realized that these teachings in this revelation are not just nice ideas. They are meant to be lived by without excuses. So when I read, O Son of Spirit, burst thy cage asunder, and even as the phoenix of love, soar into the firmament of holiness, renounce thyself, and filled with the spirit of mercy, abide in the realm of celestial sanctity. This means a great deal to me, because after having come through an ordeal like that, I do feel filled with the spirit of mercy. That it doesn't mean that I don't have to still struggle with myself. There's times when I really want to give in to anger and resentment. But I know I can't. I know what the price would be to do that. And I know it would be futile because I'd only have to get back to that point of choice and make the choice for love again. So I might as well just fight off these demons. You know, we think we can't live by these teachings because it's too hard. And certainly I was in a process for many, many years. But these teachings are meant to be lived by. Here's another beautiful one that has been set to music. There are three consecutive ones, and I think it was, I want to say 1985. I think it was 1985. The Baha'i House of Worship in India was dedicated. It was built in the shape of a lotus. It's a most magnificent building and world famous. And during that time, music was being written for the inauguration, and Tom Price was, I believe, in charge of writing this choral music, this beautiful choral music. And he partnered with Ravi Shankar. And they took these 3 hidden words and they wrote a beautiful piece of choral music. And they called it, "Oh My Servant." And I'm going to read you the 3 hidden words, and then I'm going to attempt to sing you the melody of this choral work. I have to fortify myself with some tea. It starts like this. O offspring of dust, be not content with the ease of a passing day, and deprive not thyself of everlasting rest. Barter not the garden of eternal delight for the dust heap of a mortal world. Up from thy prison, ascend unto the glorious meads above, and from thy mortal cage wing thy flight unto the paradise of the placeless. O my servant, free thyself from the fetters of this world, and loose thy soul from the prison of self. Seize thy chance, for it will come to thee no more. O son of my handmaid, didst thou behold immortal sovereignty, thou wouldst strive to pass from this fleeting world. But to conceal the one from thee and to reveal the other is a mystery which none but the pure in heart can comprehend. So it goes like this. Free thyself from the fetters of this world, loose thy soul from the prison of self. Seize thy chance, seize thy chance, oh, my servant. didst thou behold, didst thou behold a sovereignty immortal, thou wouldst strive to pass from this world, fleeting world, fleeting world. Oh, my servant, be not content with ease of a passing day, be not deprived of everlasting rest. Trade not the garden of eternal delight for the dust heap of a mortal world. Up from thy prison ascend unto glory. Up from thy prison ascend unto glory, and from thy mortal cage wing thy flight. Oh, my servant. Oh, my servant. Be not Free thyself from the fetters of this world. Loose thy soul from the prison of self. Seize thy chance, seize thy chance. Oh, my servant. Oh, my servant. Didst thou behold a sovereignty immortal, thou wouldst strive to pass from this world, fleeting world, fleeting world. Oh, my servant. Oh, my servant. Oh, my servant. I hope you enjoyed that, even though I made some mistakes. Okay. We will continue our reading from the Suriy-i-Haykal, which is the first tablet in the Summons of the Lord of Hosts, compilation of tablets by Bahá'u'lláh. In this tablet, he's addressing Queen Victoria. In this part of the tablet, he addresses, there are several world leaders that he sent letters to during these days in the 1860s. In this one, here, he's talking to Queen Victoria. He says, "Consider these days in which he who is the ancient beauty has come in the most great name, that he may quicken the world and unite its peoples. And of course, he's talking about himself, Bahá'u'lláh, who is the fulfillment of the prophecies of the most great name. They, however, rose up against him with sharpened swords and committed that which caused the faithful spirit to lament, until in the end they imprisoned him in the most desolate of cities and broke the grasp of the faithful upon the hem of his robe. So they isolated him. He was banished 4 times from Persia. First to Baghdad, then to Constantinople, and then to Adrianople, and finally to the prison city of Akka in Palestine. And they isolated him from his followers. Were anyone to tell them, the world reformer is come, they would answer and say, indeed, it is proven that he is a fomenter of discord. And this notwithstanding that they have never associated with him and have perceived that he did not seek for one moment to protect himself. At all times he was at the mercy of the wicked doers. At one time they cast him into prison, at another they banished him, and yet at another hurried him from land to land. Thus have they pronounced judgment against us, and God truly is aware of what I say. Such men are reckoned by God among the most ignorant of his creatures. They cut off their own limbs and perceive it not. They deprive themselves of that which is best for them and know it not. They are even as a young child who can distinguish neither the mischief maker from the reformer, nor the wicked from the righteous. We behold them in this day wrapped in a palpable veil. O ye rulers of the earth, wherefore have ye clouded the radiance of the sun and caused it to cease from shining? Hearken unto the counsel given you by the pen of the Most High, that haply both ye and the poor may attain unto tranquility and peace. We beseech God to assist the kings of the earth to establish a peace on earth. He verily doeth what he willeth. O kings of the earth, we see you increasing every year your expenditures and laying the burden thereof on your subjects. This verily is wholly and grossly unjust. Fear the sighs and tears of this wronged one, and lay not excessive burdens on your peoples. Do not rob them to rear palaces for yourselves. Nay, rather choose for them that which ye choose for yourselves. Thus we unfold to your eyes that which profiteth you. If ye but perceive, your people are your treasures. Beware lest your rule violate the commandments of God, and ye deliver your wards to the hands of the robber. By them ye rule. By their means ye subsist. By their aid ye conquer. Yet how disdainfully ye look upon them. How strange. How very strange. Now that ye have refused the most great peace, hold ye fast unto this the lesser peace, that haply ye may in some degree better your own condition and that of your dependents. So what he's talking about here is the fact that he wrote letters to all the kings and rulers of the known world at that time, in the 1860s, and proclaimed his station as the world redeemer and gave instruction. And everyone denied him except for Queen Victoria. She was the only one who opened to his message, and she said, if this is of God, it will prove itself, and if not, it can do no harm. And she was the only one who did not go down in ignominy. This is the only one who kept her kingdom. So what Baha'u'lláh was saying was, if the kings and rulers of the world had accepted his message when he wrote them these letters in the 1860s, the most great peace would have come to the earth, because they would have brought it to all of their subjects. But they denied him. They ignored what he said. They were too drunk with pride. So he's saying, okay, you lost your chance, but the lesser peace is going to come. The lesser peace being the infusion of the principles that Baha'u'lláh brought, such as the equality of women and men, the abolishment of slavery, the equality of human beings, the harmony of science and religion, the oneness of all spiritual paths, the education of children, many things which are coming into being, have been coming into being since the coming of Baha'u'lláh. These things are being infused into the world, whether people understand that the source of these ideas is Baha'u'lláh. The source of the energy that is diffusing the planet is Baha'u'lláh. That's why we're seeing so much transformation since the 1800s on this planet, whether it's on the material realm or on the spiritual or social realm. It comes because of the coming of Baha'u'lláh. He infused into creation these ideas and principles, and everybody's picking up on them and beginning to manifest them. So that's the lesser peace. It's not the most great peace. We're not living in peace and harmony and love and justice and equality yet. But these ideas and principles are beginning to diffuse into the world, into society. That's the lesser peace. So we're in the lesser peace now. But he's telling the rulers, look, if you had accepted my message, the whole world would have come into unity and peace. But you didn't. So strive to attain the lesser peace, that ye may in some way better your own condition and that of your dependents. Now he's going to give advice to the rulers, and he says, O rulers of the earth, be reconciled among yourselves, that ye may need no more armaments save in a measure to safeguard your territories and dominions. Beware lest ye disregard the counsel of the all-knowing, the faithful. He says, be united, O kings of the earth, for thereby will the tempest of discord be stilled amongst you, and your peoples find rest, if ye be of them that comprehend. Should anyone among you take up arms against another, rise ye all against him, for this is naught but manifest justice. Thus did we exhort you in the tablets sent down aforetime, a previous tablet, the Suriy-i-Muluk, the Suri to the kings. And we admonish you once again to follow that which hath been revealed by him who is the Almighty, the All-Wise. Should anyone seek refuge with you, extend unto him your protection, and betray him not. Thus doth the pen of the Most High counsel you, as bidden by him who is the All-Knowing, the All-Informed. Beware, lest ye act as did the King of Islam, that would have been the Sultan of Turkey, when we came unto him at his bidding. His ministers pronounced judgment against us with such injustice that all creation lamented, and the hearts of those who are nigh unto God were consumed. The winds of self and passion move them as they will, and we found them all bereft of constancy. They are indeed of those that are far astray. Okay, we're going to leave it there. We'll be back tomorrow. My prayer for you this day is that you turn to God in your hearts, that you show love and kindness to everyone around you, and that you make headway in overcoming your fear, your doubt, and your anger. Have a blessed day.